So Hooters didn't hire me and like they didn't even give me a reason. They didn't tell me why or anything. They just said like I'm not what they're looking for. Like what the hell does that mean?
Okay, so she is upset that Hooters didn't hire her. Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today we are going to be doing a little bit of an update on someone that we talked about a little while ago. Today we are going to be talking about BBW_Leila. Now, if you don't remember or you're not familiar with Leila, I will do my best to kind of give you a short little rundown, but I would recommend watching the first video just so you guys are kind of up to date. But Leila is, as she says in her Instagram profile, an Australian eating her way across America, living the extra gravity lifestyle. And one thing that is very different from Leila to really anyone else that we really talk about on this channel is she is someone that really enjoys the fact that she is gaining weight, and it's definitely a big part of her content. And I would say that basically her content boils down to greederism bait and getting people to click on a website that she owns, which we will be getting into, to basically funnel money that way. But again, if you're not familiar, let's go a little bit. This tagged Instagram post, I think, does a good job of kind of sharing this, right? So if we click on it, you can see a little before and after action, and it says, what happened to me, right? Before and after transformation weight gain. And like, there's a bunch of people saying stuff. And the thing that's interesting, right? So this is 86 weeks ago. And if you look at her posts that are more recent, as you can see, she's gained quite a bit of weight since then. And, you know, normally I would feel like, oh man, that feels messed up to say, but she is literally intentionally doing this. And the whole point of her profile is to document this journey that she is doing, right? And so this has been incredibly interesting to follow along for me, as well as Rachel, who does a lot of help behind the scenes, because it is just so different from the majority of people that we talk about. And I think the thing that is so interesting is that she takes a lot of the tropes of the people that we talk about, and like how they end up making, like a J-Bay is one that really ends up, it almost feels like she sees her posts and then intentionally tries to satirize them. But she takes those tropes and those posts and then makes her own version, which is a lot less about, oh, I'm complaining about this and this needs to change. It's almost like, let me show off how I can't fit into this thing and how this thing isn't made for me. Isn't that crazy? And look, I'm just so big, right? It's just so different than what we normally see, which is, this is unacceptable. I can't believe I can't fit in this, right? For her, it's like, oh my God, I can't fit in this. Look at this. Check this out. Let me film myself not fitting into this seat. Wow, that's crazy, right? It's just very, very different. Now, we haven't talked about Leila in a while, and, you know, let's see kind of what she's been up to. So the most recent post that has gone, you know, pretty viral in her standards is this one where she is wearing a wearing a Hooters uniform, and she has some complaints. So let's go ahead and watch this.
So Hooters didn't hire me and like they didn't even give me a reason. They didn't tell me why or anything. They just said like I'm not what they're looking for. Like what the hell does that mean?
Okay, so she is upset that Hooters didn't hire her. Now, I want to make it very clear, this never happened, right? I mean, I can't say 100%, but I'm almost 100% positive this never happened. She didn't try to apply for Hooters. This is all for internet clout to get attention, right? But I think there are some other people that feel that way as well. And she actually is very honest about this, right? So one of the top comments here is, you're just trying to cause controversy. You want drama and you need it to find your identity. Instead of just focusing on you and finding out who you really are, what makes you you, and being happy with it. You don't need social media to tear you down, build you up, or try to give you a superficial confidence. You'll never be truly happy until you find out who you are and be happy and love yourself. Stop posting crap like this, right? So this is someone that I think is seeing this and is seeing this as a genuine person that is maybe posting this to get attention. Maybe they're not, maybe they don't believe that she actually went to Hooters and tried to apply. But I feel like from what I have seen and the videos that I've made and the content that I've watched of her, nothing is serious, right? It all is a joke. right? I mean, obviously she's actually gained the weight, but as far as like this post, she didn't go to Hooters and try to apply, and she's not upset that they didn't they didn't accept her, right? She enjoys not fitting in places. She likes to film that content. She likes when things like this happen because it's a way for her to get content, right? And she even says it right here, right? It's not that deep, love. It's just to promote my content, and it works like a charm, right? And so if you're kind of curious what the content is, so if we go to her website, leilabbw.com here, this is it. And as you can see, the first thing that you see is fat struggles request, right? And so from what I am gathering, that is, you can basically ask her, oh, film this kind of fat struggle, but make it, sexy, I guess, which is, I'm assuming, what kind of the Hooters thing is, because as you can see, there's a fat Hooters girl remake, right? And then we have striptease with Sunny J, most fattening weight gain shake ever, right? And so her whole persona and everything that she is posting is to get people to go to this website, because as you can see, it's not cheap, right? It's $31 a month that you are paying, and that's just the minimum, I'm assuming, that you have to pay to get access to this website. And then obviously it says right here, you may use tips and requests to influence further content updates. So basically, if you pay me more money, there is a more likely chance that I will do the thing that you want me to do in this next video. And so this is just very, very interesting to me, because something that we talk a lot about is when there are larger people that are creating content, a lot of people will say, oh, you're just making greeterism content. And there might be hints of it in a lot of people that are larger making content, but this is like clearly that. There is no denying it, and she doesn't even deny it, right? In all of the posts that she makes, everything is geared to getting people to go to this website. What I find to be interesting is that, like I said this in my first video when I talked about her, it is really weird for me as someone that went from being that size to losing weight and seeing how much that helped me and was such a life-changing thing. I can't imagine someone intentionally gaining weight and putting themselves through that just to maybe make some money and garner some attention online. It really does feel it feels wrong. It feels like going against every natural human kind of feeling that you would have. And she's actually has, again, you never know what's actually true with her, but she actually has had some things that have happened to her because of doing these, this, I don't even know what to call it, just gaining so much weight in a short period of time. So if we look at one of the top comments on this post is, your aspirations are high, so are your A1Cs, right? And she actually says, no, I just checked my A1C the other day actually, but thanks for caring. The reason that is interesting, right, is because if we actually go to this post, which this is another one that we talked about in the very first video, just go ahead and watch this.
Pre-diabetes, which sucks because now I'm trying to lower my blood sugar. I'm taking walks after I eat and trying to eat less carbs, but that's really it, I guess, because I don't want to lose any weight, so I'm hoping I can lower it just by doing that. I don't know. What do you guys think? So recently, some of you guys might have seen, I got told that I have pre-diabetes, which sucks because now I'm trying to lower my blood sugar. I'm taking walks after I eat and trying to eat less carbs, but that's really it, I guess, because I don't want to lose any weight, so I'm hoping I can lower it just by doing that. I don't know.
So this is 36 weeks ago. She is saying that she is being told that she has pre-diabetes, but she doesn't really want to do that much because she doesn't want to lose weight. Again, I understand this could not be true, right? She could be making this up again for content to get people to go to the website. I get that, right? But, she made the claim here, right? And it's just so, honestly, like reading the captions is just, it's kind of funny, if I'm being honest. Is health update, crying emoji. I'm going to try to lower it by taking a little walk after I eat. Angel, happy face emoji. And then hashtag health, hashtag plus size, hashtag body positive, hashtag fat acceptance, hashtag haze. Again, so it's stuff like this where it's like, it feels like she is almost making fun of people that are in the fat acceptance movement by making these posts. And honestly, I feel like a lot of people that are, talk about the fat acceptance movement or like don't really like it. I feel like they probably see someone like Leila and they just see this is exactly how they see Jay Baez, right? Or whatever, right? Like it's this satirical version of the fat acceptance people, and I just think it's very interesting, but it also is sad because you're seeing someone in real time destroy their health for attention and money on the internet, right? But at the end of the day, is this worth giving everything up, right? Like giving your health up for a fetish, for like. You are giving up such a huge part of your life and maybe even your life for this. And that's when it's like, I almost want to laugh at it because I see the satirical part in it. Like I think it's funny, kind of that whole thing. But at the same time, like this is someone that is actively, in my opinion, endangering their life and like really causing serious harm to themselves for a little bit of attention on the internet. And one thing that I talked about in that first video was that I feel like there is this battle going on in her head where maybe she enjoys the money and attention, but I do feel like it is affecting her negatively. And so I'm curious how far this is going to go before there's it hits a breaking point. She kind of talks about an experience and different experiences she's had with people saying something about her weight when they're kind of delivering food to her. And I thought this was incredibly interesting. And it shares, I think, a little bit about her psyche, because I think the posts where it's just like a 5-second clip, you can't really get too much about a person. You can't learn too much about them.
When I got this, she was like, dine in or takeaway. I was like, I don't know if you'd ask that of a skinny person if they're ordering like 9 pieces of chicken. Maybe they would, I don't know. I don't get how people can watch mukbangs, bro. Like, this is so hard for me to listen to. I did that thing us fat people do when we're pretending that I'm not gonna go home and eat the whole thing, but we both know. No, not really. I don't really care, obviously, so.
That's interesting right there, right? Where she's like, oh, I do that thing that us fat people do. But then it's almost like she tries to walk it back to be like, no, I'm not ever ashamed of my weight. I love it all the time. There's never any negative feelings that I have associated with this. And I feel like that's part of kind of the things you kind of have to do, especially if you're doing the feeder content, is like, you don't want the people that are basically paying your bills to feel like you are feeling negative about the thing, because that might ruin their fantasy, right? And so you want to make it like, I love this, all of it. It's all so good. I never want to talk about the negatives about this. It's all good. I'm always happy, right? It's almost like she walked back that statement because she realized, oh, maybe that sounds like I don't like being this size.
I never do that. But you know how like some fat people will be like, the pizza's here. I never do that.
That's interesting to me, because it almost seems like she's separating herself from people that are just bigger. There's it's really hard for them to they struggle with their weight, and she's almost like separating herself and almost saying like, I'm different than them. Again, maybe I'm definitely overanalyzing. I'm sure I am, but it's interesting to hear that.
Cause like, I'm semi-proud, I'm like, yeah, well, that fits for me, like, anytime. And I dare them to say something about it. No one actually, one time, not even that long ago, these 2 guys were, like, delivering together, I guess, like, friends. 2 young guys. And they were like, you must be hungry, and the other one laughed. So that did happen. But and there was actually another time too when this like older British guy said something similar. But the way the British guy said it pissed me off so much that I remember I was like, it's for my kid or something. Like, I just like, because I was so mad at him, and I was like, when the two young guys did it, I don't know, it didn't really annoy me because they were just like laughing at me, which I know sounds bad, but the way the older British guy said, I don't know, I remember it was just really rude. He was like really rude. That annoyed me. Yeah.
So it's interesting because apparently, like, after that kind of story that she tells, she doesn't really talk for much of the rest of the mukbang. So I think maybe those things really do kind of bother her. But again, it's like she can't really talk about it too much because she feels that would alienate part of the audience. And like, the whole fantasy is like, this is a person that's gaining weight and they love that they're gaining weight and they like every part of it and everything about it is lovely and great and they feel so good about it and they're just so happy about it, right? And so the person that's watching it feels good about watching them because, oh, they're just doing what they want to do, and I just am appreciating this, right? A very, very interesting dynamic for sure. And speaking more on the whole like satire of the fat acceptance genre of posts that you see online that go viral, I mean, this one is literally perfect, right? So this is her trying to fit into this, it looks like it's like a business class seat on an airline, but she goes on to say, when you get caught not fitting in your seatbelt on the plane, right? And there's this guy in the corner that kind of looks over when she's trying to, you know, quote unquote fit into this seat. And again, right, talking about J-Bay, you know, she made a whole, you know, she tried to start a whole movement on not being able to fit into seats on an airplane, and it was this big deal. But for Leila, again, it's almost like, oh, perfect, I can make content out of this. It's not that she's upset about the fact that she can't fit into the seat, right? It's that it's almost like, I am excited about the fact that I can't fit into the seat because then I can film this and post it on my website and you know, monetize that fact. It's just incredibly interesting to me. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I think that this is a very interesting individual that is monetizing something that I just never, like, I never would have imagined this was going to be something that people would be monetizing, you know, when I was younger, but alas, here we are in 2025. But that's basically everything that I have to say about that. I'm genuinely curious what y'all think down below. Like, do you think that this should be allowed on different social medias? Like, at what point, right, are the social medias like responsible and that should they take ownership? I don't really know. I've always kind of struggled with the answer on that one because, you know, free speech, brother. But at the same time, you know, when people are actively harming themselves, that's obviously not a good thing. So I don't really know exactly what the answer is. But I do want to say, if you made it to the end of the video, I really appreciate it. If you haven't liked or subscribed to the channel, I would really appreciate that. And, you know, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. All of that stuff really helps us in the algorithm. And if you didn't know, we have channel memberships live. So if you want to join that, it really helps the channel as well. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.